What do you hear? What do you say?
Welcome to Chicago, where the fire serve cold, but the Wolves and the Hawks never shiver in the snow. The Bulls keep it running, the Sox run the South, the Cubs run the North, but the Bears run the house. True Chicago sports fans got their ears to the street. Any team make a move and they never skip a beat. And in this house, this is where we be. Welcome to the show with E-Rock and Big Z.
Welcome to Chicago. Coming from the True Chicago Sports Fan Cave, this is the TCSF podcast with E-Rock and Big Z.
Jingle jangle.
Oh my God. Episode 122 is brought to you by 606 Media, True Chicago Sports Fans, and Grit Clothing Company. Don't forget to go to gritclothingco.com and get your official TCSF podcast t-shirts. Search for keyword True Chicago and use our promo code TrueFan15 for 15% off your entire order. That's TrueFan15. Go and get your official TCSF shirts now.
It's shopping season, ladies and gentlemen. Go and get yourself a gift, and then, of course, one for your loved ones.
That's right. As always, I'm Big Z, and I'm here with my boy E-Rock. What up, E?
What's up, ladies and gentlemen? What's up, Z? Welcome to the show. If you're a first-timer or a long-timer, please remember to hit that subscribe button, that notify button, and go ahead and give us a review on your listening app of choice. You can find us on Facebook at True Chicago Fans. You can follow us on Twitter at True Chi Fans and on IG at True Chicago Sports Fans. And don't forget, you can support the show with a monthly subscription at anchor.fm/True Chicago Sports Fans. Go on over there and click on support, and you can subscribe for as low as 99 cents a month. Ladies and gentlemen, once again, get yourself a gift that will last the whole year, only 99 cents a month. Hey, help us keep doing what we do. And here's the thing. Do you like the show?
I do.
Are you a fan?
Always.
Then tell your friends, and they will tell their friends, and we can all be friends. Bring it up at Christmas time. Hey, guys, I listened to this great sports show. You should listen to it, too. And look, we can all be friends through the whole holiday season, all the way onto the new year. Z, what's up, brother? It's been a little bit. How you doing, man?
It's been a little while. Yeah, that's right. First I want to give a shout-out to Ivan from the Tape Never Lies network over there. Yeah. Thanks for hooking us up with letting us borrow Ivan for a little bit. He did his job. He over there, held it down. He was worried. He's like, I'm going to fill E-Rock's big shoes. I'm like, dude, you'll be okay. You'll be all right. You're not going to argue with me, but it's all good. No, man, it's been crazy. That's the holiday season. I was able to hang out this week with coworkers and enjoy getting to know them outside of work a little bit. Partied over that 5-star. It was supposed to be downtown, and then last minute they changed it to 5 stars, so it was in the neighborhood. Yes, that was it's cool, chill. Maybe 15, 20 people that showed up. So it's hard with people with families to redirect their attention to coming to a holiday party. So kind of understand that, but had some wings, pizza, cheese curds, all types of stuff that's not healthy for me. But I had a good time, man. It's one of those things that you want to do, especially your first time, your first year at a new job. You kind of got to show face and size up everybody.
Absolutely. I mean, it's important to hey, this is who I am. This is what I'm about. Just so when we see each other in the hall, because it's essentially school all over again, right?
Oh yeah.
No matter what job you do, specifically being a teacher, but you have a whole everyone has their group, everyone has their department, everyone does this. Okay, who am I getting along with each department, right? Everyone has a friend that they can go to if they need someone from that department. So yeah, man, that's important.
Yeah. Oh, do you have a holiday party coming up soon?
You know what, we always have holiday parties, and by holiday parties I mean pinball releases. So we have release parties all the time. There was one at Logan Arcade on Friday night. There's one coming up on Wednesday at I think Interium in Schaumburg. And I'm not sure about a holiday official Stern Pinball holiday party. I've heard rumblings, but I haven't seen any invitations yet. So we'll see what happens.
That's awesome, man. Oh, this past Thursday, I was able to go to the first annual Regulators Toy Drive over there at Output Lounge. Exactly, mount up. I was our friend Enrique Calderon performed, and dude, he knocked it out of the park. He had his band there. Yeah, you've been to Output, you've seen the backstage. It's usually it used to be like a little nightclub and whatever. So they had all the toys behind him. They had a couple DJs. Julian Jumper Perez was DJing earlier. Is it Julian Jumper Perez or whoever the dude is?
Julian Jumping Perez.
Yeah, the guy that's running. That guy, he was there. Yeah, yeah, whatever. And then
the running man.
Yeah, and Enrique closed out the night with his band, and he did about 45 minutes straight. It's salsa, bachata, merengue. He played it all and sang it on. It was a good time, man. It was something for the kids that are doing a toy drive, and you can't go wrong with that.
Nah, man. Anytime you can give back to the kids, I mean, all I'm about that. So, that's a dope thing that it was a toy drive, right? And its first annual gives me hope that hey, it's coming back next year. It'll just keep going and going forever.
Exactly. And then lastly, bowling. Was able to bowl 2 times, 2 days last week, and I'm still feeling the effects of it because these hips lie all the time. First Tuesday Night Magic, and definitely came back down to earth. Those bowling gods are very fickle. I gotta stop telling people what I scored every week because I went from my 200s back to my 140s and 160s. So yeah, they're a little fickle there. Yeah, I was getting a little cocky. 4 weeks of hitting 200. I mean, for me, I'm a very streaky bowler. Very streaky. I can go on a hot streak and a drop of a dime, and then I can go back and bowl a fucking 90 and just want to like throw the bowling ball through the windshield. Not my windshield, but someone else's windshield. And then the next day, because most of the guys that bowl at Tuesday, some of those guys bowl over on Wednesday. They're like, hey, it's our last week, our season's over, but we have the last day where everybody gets paid out, so it's free bowling for 3 hours. Nice. Yeah, so they're like, you come through. Not everybody's gonna show up. There'll be free lanes, whatever. So I go there, and I'm bowling with some guys that I've been in tournaments with, and people I bowl with are on separate teams. We didn't have enough bowlers, so we had 2 lanes. It was 3 bowlers, so I was bowling. I think I bowled 4.5 games within like 2 hours. Yeah, that definitely did it for me, and I was like, oh my god, I gotta stop doing that. I am no longer a young chick anymore. So what?
Not a spring chicken.
Not a spring chicken at all. There's no springs on it. There's nothing but rust on this motherfucker. Especially with all this cold and rain, man. The arthritis is hitting, man. All right, man. How was your couple weeks?
Speaking of the hips lying, let me tell you something. Your hips are not lying to you. They're telling you the truth. They're telling you to slow down. That you can't do this no more. He's talking about a spring chicken. It's been a while for that too.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, man, getting ready over here for the 606 holiday party. Speaking of holiday parties,
there we go.
It's coming. It's this upcoming Sunday. Not last Sunday, and I'm talking to Steven and Sean from the No Water on the Weekend podcast. I get a message say, "Hey, I'm leaving soon. I'm running late," and I'm sitting at my sofa, like in my drawers, with my feet up on the table. It says, "What are you late for, Steven?" He goes, "Oh, isn't your party today?" I says, "Well, no, it definitely isn't." And when he said in that group chat that he was running late, I somehow knew that's where he was saying he was late for.
Oh, man.
So I'm looking at the time and I'm like, nah, there's no way. There's no way. So yeah, it is upcoming this weekend. So that should be a good time. And I spent the whole week until, I don't know, sometime tomorrow, probably being banned from Facebook
again.
Again. I somehow got banned from Facebook again, but this time it was even sillier than last time. So I got banned for trying to help someone fix a dishwasher, okay?
Uh-huh.
It was a post with a photo of a serial number and someone saying, this is what's wrong with this dishwasher. And I, along with a lot of other people, said, hey, essentially, replace the sump and motor assembly. That's all that it needs. There's no other fix for it. My actual comment was, pop that guy out and replace the sump and motor. Now, anyone with a sliver of a brain would know that particular comment on a post about a dishwasher would mean remove the dishwasher and replace the sump and motor. But Facebook flagged it for inciting violence because it said, pop that guy. The last time I got put in Facebook clink was when I mentioned blowing up a toilet. So now I can't fix dishwashers or take shits. I don't know what to do anymore, man. These algorithms are completely out of control.
Well, now you can't even say soda pop.
Yeah, seriously. I had this. It had to be the pop and guy together. That's the only thing that makes sense. But I said blowing up a toilet too. You know what I mean? And pop is essentially a violent thing now.
Oh my God! I mean, if this was the '80s, you'd be in jail right now because you had the pop guns.
I live in Chicago. A pop is a pop. Like, what am I supposed to say?
It's RC, right? It's RC.
Like, are you serious? Like, that's just what it is. You know, if I was in Georgia and I said Coke for every single flavor of soda, that's one thing. But yeah, I mean, it's been out of control. So I mean, I've just been working recreationally with some plants in my house. And what I mean by that is that my boss gave me a little spider plant, and it was like a seedling or like one of the offlings or whatever the hell they call them, that come off of the plant because it actually grows these long strands, and you can literally see baby spider plants growing from there. So he brought someone to work, and he says, "Hey, if you guys want them, take them." He has a couple in the office. I take one home, and when he gave us plants a couple weeks before, I totally forgot about those. They dried out in the shopping bag that I brought them home in.
Nice.
And those got tossed in the trash. These I put in a little, actually, it was a pint glass of water. It was supposed to be intended for a day or two. It sat there for about 2 weeks. I just transferred those over into a pot a couple days ago, and I see some offshoots already. So let's see how long it takes for me to kill this thing.
Oh man, you murdered plants already. Oh my God. Don't put that on Facebook. You'll get banned again.
Oh, seriously. Yeah. That's why I gotta make sure I clarify the recreational planting over here.
From this point on, you're only allowed to post about TCSF and 606 media stuff, man.
I mean, isn't that what I post most of the time anyway? Aside from just being a sarcastic ass. You know how many times I've erased the comment that I was about to say? Not because it was like anything particularly bad. Just because like I knew that the person I was saying it to would be too dumb to either understand or just block that out of their brain and just say whatever they want anyway. So I'm like, you know what? It's not. I'm too tired for that shit.
Yeah, it's not worth it.
To argue.
Yeah, it's not worth it. It's not worth the argument. It's also not worth getting popped because your first offense was what, a couple of days, and now you had a week.
Oh, well, that was the thing, is that when it first happened, they actually flagged me for something from like 2020. It was like somebody made a meme of Trump drinking that bleach bottle when he was talking about drinking bleach to get rid of coronavirus. And I says, it was literally, I reposted it and I put like, hey, for, whoever thinks this is fake, go ahead and chug your bleach or something like that. And then like 2 years later, they're like, hey, that was bad. And I'm like, are you serious? That was forever ago. And then they just keep flagging nonsense now.
Oh yeah, you're definitely flagged. There's no way. You're gonna have to make a burner account. That's what you're gonna have to do.
I'll tell you what, speaking of which, my guy Dream Tech, who actually gave us some of the beats that we play, I always talk about him every week. He got a 7-day ban because he posted a photo from his studio of a microphone, and they said it basically was supposed to be a dick. Like, he posted a photo of a dick. And I'm like, it's literally clearly a big black microphone. And they're like, that's penis. And I'm like, you guys don't understand what a penis looks like. Also, because it's a robot, they're like, hey, look, big black dark penis. That's, like, what the fuck, man? Like, seriously, he got banned for a week over that bullshit. It's getting out of control.
It is getting super out of control. And, as much as the misinformation is posted on Facebook and you guys are doing something that's not of that matter, you're getting flagged for doing the right thing and helping someone else with a dishwasher. Next time, you're probably going to have to do it. Just go to Messenger and just fucking message them and avoid the whole public thing.
But this is the worst part. It was in an appliance repair group. It was in a group about appliance repair. It was a different technician because he was all for appliance repairers, right? So that's what the group was all about. It was for appliance repair techs. I've been in there for years. I don't do that work anymore, but I knew exactly what the symptom was. So it was in literally a group on a photo of a dishwasher in the group of another. I mean, the circumstances in which that they had to find that to be an issue is absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah, and this is why you're gonna have to stick to podcasting and not dishwashers.
Pinballs.
Pinballs. Yeah.
I haven't posted anything about balls yet, so we'll see how they.
That'll get you put on real quick. Pop that ball in there.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, speaking of balls, in this episode, we're going to check on the not so hot stove. Again, Facebook, a stove is an appliance that you can cook on. I'm not saying hot is a bad thing. Please understand that. So we're going to be talking about that and all of our baseball grief that we have with these two ridiculous teams. All that plus stirring the pot and what you looking at. But first, this is the Big Three with Big Z.
Thanks, E-Rock. I'm Big Z, and you're not.
Nope.
Now for today's stories. All right, E, I'm going to get you in trouble here, man. I'm going to get you in trouble. So I heard you like getting wet.
Hey.
On roller coasters.
I like one of those things.
Oh, well, Disney is officially to close Splash Mountain in January following racial stereotype criticism for being named after the Song of the South.
Okay.
Yeah, I knew I was gonna perk your ears up with this one.
I've been on this ride. The story that it's based on is what's racist. It's about Brer Rabbit, which is based. You know what I mean? Like I'm not gonna go into the whole thing, but I mean, if you actually go in and understand the Song of the South and read the story and even like the zippity doo dah shit, it is pretty fucking racist.
It is, yeah, exactly, and it. People are how do we say this, woke, so they're more aware of some things, and sometimes they overreact. But this one is one that the name change is coming at a great time. The ride was going to be reimagined as Tiana's Bayou Adventure from the Princess and the Frog. So I think this is the right thing to do.
It makes perfect sense.
Yeah, culturally, and also you've been to Great America or these parks. Sometimes these things that they aged out, they get stale. Splash Mountain. While Ric Flair used it in his monologues a lot. He said he got more rides than Splash Mountain or Space Mountain, whatever. Really, it's time to do that. You have to reevaluate what you have there and say, you know what, this might have been okay in their eyes at that point, but it never was okay.
The thing is too is that number one, you could still call it Splash Mountain. There's nothing wrong with that name, right? The ride itself is where the characters are, so they can call it whatever they want. Everyone's still gonna call it Splash Mountain. But number two, when you talk about being woke, quote unquote woke, what you're doing is you're just hey, that was shitty. Like that should have never taken place, and you're waking up to that fact. Okay, so call me woke. Like I don't care, because if you're essentially trying to right past wrongs, what's the problem with that? As long as you don't go overboard, right? That's the thing. I think that's what it is. But I mean, just like anything else, just like, hey, you want to support this, big orange bastard and whatever you want to do. Okay, don't rush to Capitol, right? Like that's going too far. That's like that's the exact opposite of being too woke, I guess.
Yeah, the overcorrection is correct. Saying. Like when you're driving in the snow and you're skidding, you don't overcorrect all of a sudden, and you end up in a ditch. So
exactly, and you don't storm the Capitol, or you end up in a ditch that's a prison. Congratulations, guys.
Yeah, you'll be digging ditches, right? Digging ditches.
Right.
All right, E. Well, I've already wound you all up, so let me tell you about two idiots for story number 2. In the great city of Chicago, prosecutors say that 2 Chicago cousins stored more than $2.3 million worth of pot inside of a South Loop storage locker, but got caught because they didn't pay the rent on time. Idiots. Safeguard Self-Storage, 1353 South Wabash. Yeah, there's the address. There's no more weed there, so I don't care. As a standing policy, if a customer doesn't pay their rent for 30 days, an employee opens up the storage locker and inventories the contents. So prosecutor Adam Samarco said Tuesday that on Saturday, the company's employee called 911 to report something suspicious inside a locker that had not been paid since October 31st. They unlocked the storage unit, and cops showed up, and they can see it all for themselves. Hopefully, they didn't take it all for themselves.
So, Mm-hmm. 3, okay. That was 3.0 million.
We all seen Training Day. We all seen Training Day. Hey, there's got to be that tax.
That's a finder's fee right there.
Of course.
Yeah. But look, here's the thing. Maybe sell some of that weed. Mm-hmm. I don't know. Pay your rent. Sell the weed. Like, what are you sitting on it for?
Again, this is what I'm saying. The idiots. And how do you forget? You should have an auto debit.
Yeah.
Hey, I got $2.3 million worth of weed there. Did we pay the rent? Oh my God. People are just fucking dumb.
You know why? You know why they didn't pay the rent?
Because they were fucking high.
Because I got high.
Oh, man. All right. Story number 3. TSA saves the day again. Yes,
again.
yeah, because we talked about TSA last week. Oh, yeah. The Transportation Security Administration found a dog inside a carry-on backpack that was accidentally, quote unquote, sent through the X-ray. This happened at the Wisconsin airport this past week.
Hold up. No, hold up.
Yeah.
Because I don't really like, you know exactly what happened, right? They heard about that story with the cat going through the X-ray, and just like Tom and Jerry, they sent the fucking dog to go in after the cat to get the cat out of the X-ray. That's exactly what happened. You cannot convince me otherwise.
So next week, stay tuned for the mouse part. In Tuesday's tweet, the TSA Great Lakes shared an image of a backpack in a bin at the airport security and the X-ray, which shows the outline of a dog inside the carry-on at Dane County Regional Airport in Madison, Wisconsin. TSA spokesman Jessica Mayo said, confirmed to USA Today that the small dog was a Dachshund Chihuahua mix. It was a little fucking dog.
Dachshund Chihuahua. It's a
little rat. It's a little rat.
It's a wiener dog that makes its own sauce.
Yeah, exactly. They said that the dog was a little skittish. So the person literally
Taco Bell.
Exactly. So the person knew that they alerted the airline that they were going to travel with the dog, but the person didn't know what the protocol was. To go through the X-ray machine. So they're like, well, I'll just put him in my carry-on, and obviously the red flag. So people, that's 2 dumb stories and 2 weeks in a row.
It's way more than 2 dumb stories. Okay, let's be honest. Let's go back to talk about the alligator who ate the snake, or the snake that ate the alligator. What do you really call that? Like, that sounds like a turducken for people in Alabama.
Oh man, that sounds like, I'm gonna get a turkey and stuff it with a chicken and stuff it with a quail and stuff.
That's a turducken right there.
Oh my god,
chicken. You know what? What is that? A snake-a-gator or something. What the fuck is that?
I mean, either way, you're getting some boots out of it, and a belt, and probably a wallet.
Yes.
Talk to my friends on 26th Street.
Hey, snake skin and gator skin. I mean, shit. I got gators with a snake skin belt. I'm ready. Let's go.
You coming up right here? Put Kanye's name on it, and you'll sell billions of it.
If I get them boots, I want the long boots that curl, like, so you can like tap someone 3 feet.
Oh no, those are so horrible. That was such a bad fad. Oh my god.
The tip is curled up like a Frito and shit.
Oh my god. I can't believe people were wearing that and going crazy over that in Mexico. That shit was wild. Like, first of all, how the fuck do you drive with those on? You can't.
Those are literal shit kickers.
I mean, they'll clear out the shit. I mean, for sure.
Yeah, that's the work in the fields, man.
Oh man. Hey, what you think about last week's story about the golfers and the guy bit his face off?
Bro, the face off. Let me tell you, I really want to know the circumstances. How much money did he owe him, and how many times did he fuck his wife? That was the questions that I had.
I'm pretty sure it was like, oh, I bet you a night with my wife you don't hit this, and the motherfucker hit a hole in one, and just obviously hit that hole in one too.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, he actually like paid up on the bet. He was like, hey, my wife likes you better than me now. What the fuck?
Yeah.
Bite your nose off. What's funny is that, what it reminded me of was the Mike Tyson story. If that guy would have had some gum, he would have been biting this guy's nose off.
Oh, my God. I'm Big Z, and that's news to me. We'll be right back after a word from our sponsors.
Hey, true Chicago sports fans, show off your Chicago pride with some fresh clothes from Grit Clothing Company. At Grit Clothing, they create that simple yet classic style that represents that Chicago Southside lifestyle. From t-shirts to hoodies, hats to glassware, they've got you covered. Grit has everything you need to represent your Chicago pride, so do it right now. Check out gritclothingco.com and use the promo code TrueFan15.
TrueFan15.
For 15% off your entire order. Let me say it again. That's gritclothingco.com and use the promo code TrueFan15 for 15% off of your entire order.
Hey, this is comedian Ken Garr, and I was just a guest on the True Chicago Sports Fans podcast with Big Earl and G Money and a bunch of weirdos. So tune in.
Hey, what's up? This is Lex Cruz from Jungle AE Recording Studios and Illinois Media School, and you are now listening to True Chicago Sports Fans Podcast.
Welcome back to the TCSF podcast with E-Rock and Big Z.
Yes, sir.
This is 3 Up and 3 Down.
I think I'll perplex him with my slow ball.
1, 2, 3 strikes, you're out.
All right, E, I know you had a couple of weeks off, and the winter meetings came and went, and the Sox and Cubs did nothing but window shop. So let's break down MLB's hot stove, because we didn't pay the gas bill, apparently.
You know, let me tell you something. There is no such thing in this segment as 3 up and 3 down, because there's only 3 down, and it's 3 down players that I wanted on the Cubs that did not make it back to the Cubs, right? So, I mean, you're talking about like it came and went. The only thing that came was the fucking fans of teams like the fucking Padres, right? And the teams like the Phillies, all right? How do the rich get richer out here? Like, you're talking about like all-star teams in Philly getting what? Trey Turner for 11 years, right?
Yeah.
Was it $300 million?
300 million.
Right?
300 million.
What the fuck? $300 million, 11-year contract. And then you look at another team that's been stacked for a couple of years, like the San Diego Padres. And who do they get? They get Xander Bogaerts, $280 million, $20 million short of what Trey Turner got. You're talking about the rich getting richer. And you're talking about a team like the Red Sox, who should be, I do not understand how the Red Sox are a functioning Major League Baseball team right now. How do you let Xander Bogaerts and Mookie Betts slip away?
I mean, it's just frustrating, because Xander Bogaerts is one of those good players that you want on your team, produces year after year, great defensively, great guy. Someone you want to build around. You know, obviously with the Mookie Betts thing, I think they priced themselves out of it, and since they had a losing team, they're like, well, we might as well get something for him. But Xander, I don't understand how you let that man go. Also, like you said, the rich get richer. You had Xander Bogaerts, who plays shortstop, and San Diego does have a shortstop that had a couple of, problems of getting injured, and then doing some stupid stuff, on a bike, and then he takes some PEDs, and he says, I didn't know I could take PEDs. Like, dude, you grew up here. You grew up here most of your life. You know exactly what you can and cannot take. And if you're not sure, they have professionals you can call at any point of the day or night. You can say, hey, can I take Excedrin? No, you can't. Okay, cool. Right. What can I take? Take Tylenol. Take 2 of those, and if you have more pain, guess what? You're gonna have to come into the facility, and we treat you with the doctors, and that's how you get past, all the protocols. At this point, they want to move him all the way into the outfield. I've never in the White Sox, organization, remember him playing outfield. So what does that tell you? That he is expendable, and he's gonna be on the trade market. And I'm telling you right now, the Yankees will be hot in pursuit to get him.
You know what? I didn't even think about that. Yeah. I didn't even think about that. Because, I mean, like, whatever they were able to do this year, with him not being there. I mean, let me tell you something. I know for a fact he was not there all year, because I was sitting there watching and waiting for him to come up on my fantasy team all fucking year. And then I'm like, all right, like a week away. And then all of a sudden they're like, oh, yeah, he took something he shouldn't have taken, and now he can't do shit. And I'm like, damn it. And then he has another like 30 games once the season begins that he's going to be suspended. So, I mean, look at what's going on in the Padres organization. It's just the rich getting richer. I mean, and you look at the 2 teams that were in the NLCS this year. Who was there, right? You're talking about the rich getting richer. The Phillies are definitely, I mean, they're not done. They're going to keep pushing for that championship until they get another one.
Yeah.
Right. And the same thing with the Astros. Look, the Astros took Abreu right from underneath y'all, because, I mean, let's be frank. Do you think that if the White Sox make the playoffs this year, that Abreu is not on the White Sox next year?
Abreu doesn't leave. If we make the playoffs, he doesn't leave, because he's part of a winning culture. He was the man standing outside on the bench by himself at the end of every game, pissed off that we keep losing over stupid shit, whether it was the defense, whether it was the manager, whether it was guys not running hard and playing hard. He was pissed off, and you can literally see on his face the disgust game after game, and that's why he left when you had an organization that has no idea what the hell they're doing. So your Brady was like, you know what, I'm out of here. These guys are winning, and they're showing me they want to win, and they're going to pay me almost $20 million every year for 3 years. Everybody's like, oh, but he's old. Yeah, but he's been producing. He's almost hitting 300 for his career and putting up 20 home runs and 80 RBIs for his career. I don't give a fuck if he's fucking 45. If he's producing at that level, you keep him. They're talking about, oh, we're going to move the kid down. The kid's unproven. You're in a window where it's time to win. We don't know what that kid's going to do the whole year. He's never played a whole year at first base. He's never had a full year of playing consistently. He was in and out of the lineup. We're talking about Sheets and Vaughn. We're talking about two guys that are going to be playing first. Unproven. At this point, your window is literally just a bit open. The White Sox window is barely cracked open. It's letting a little breeze in because it's hot inside the house. That is it. Because the rest of it, it's hot inside the house because there's a lot of fucking hot air between Moncada, TA, the fucking organization at the front office talking all, well, we made an offer. Hey, bro, yeah. I'm sick of offers, bro. This isn't eBay where you're just gonna fucking bid on this. Like, well, you know what? I don't want to pay that much for it. If you fucking want it, you're gonna pay full price or a premium for it, and that's what the rest of the league is doing.
Absolutely, and the problem is that both of these teams on both sides of town are sitting stagnant. They're not doing shit. They are not doing shit. I mean, like, you look at what team. We talked about this before a little bit. The Texas Rangers. The Texas Rangers are just signing everybody, right? They got what was that? Martin Perez. They got Jacob deGrom, 5 years, 185. And then what happens is once they do that, well, Verlander moves from the Astros over to the Mets for 2 years and $86.7 million. I mean, for a 40 or 38. 39, 40-year-old. I thought for sure, number one, Verlander was going back to the Astros because I thought he wanted to run it back. I thought for sure, especially the way he came out last year, and you had to remove that doubt after all the shit that went down last time they won a championship, and you got his wife up there and all this shit. I thought for sure Verlander was going to run it back with Houston, but he goes up to the Mets, and the Mets are another team just getting richer and richer. It's ridiculous. You look at the fact that LA, the Dodgers are kind of in a little bit of a hell right now because they have a lot of moving pieces. You got your third baseman is gone now. You got Trey Turner gone. So I mean, like they're going to have to figure it out. You're losing some of your starting pitching. You got Kershaw coming back, but you got Tyler Anderson going over to the Angels. Who I don't know what they're doing, but nobody knows what they're doing. No. But I mean, overall, you're seeing the same teams move. You got Kenley Jansen, your guy from the Dodgers who went to the Astros. Now he ends up in Boston. I mean, up and down. You're looking at other teams. Verlander, Mets. Quintana, you guys could have had Quintana for cheap to the Mets. Right there. I mean, like it's crazy that we're not seeing either one of these teams really make any push whatsoever, except for a 1 year deal for Bellinger and a prove-it deal, and then that 4 year deal for Taillon, who was supposed to be this prospect years and years ago. That's why you get him out of 4 years for $68 million.
Yeah, and I mean, again, for the White Sox, all you have is Clevenger to put your hat on, and this is a guy who was injured for a full season. I mean, yes, you're familiar with him, and he's familiar with the AL Central, but it's a 1 year prove-it deal for $12 million. That's super cheap. I'm going to tell you right now, the last time the White Sox signed a long-term deal was 2011, 5 years, $65 million contract for John Danks. He had he never got an ERA lower than 4.71. So in the mind of Jerry and Rick, well, Rick Hahn probably wasn't even there. It was Kenny. You're looking at, I got snake bitten because I trusted a guy that was homegrown, and I gave him a big contract, quote unquote, for the White Sox, and that's why they didn't re-sign Rodon for big money, even though you grew him out and you let him go, and now he's available, but now you're priced out because you don't want to spend that type of money. You're looking at, your boy that just left the Cubs, Wilson Contreras. Yep. 5 years, $9 million. I get that we got a catcher that's making good money like that, but he is a leader. He's a leader.
That right there pisses me off more than anything else because that is a cheap ass contract.
It is.
The Chicago Cubs could not offer him that money on a cheap ass contract. So now he gets to go. He leaves Chicago. He leaves the Chicago Cubs to go to our biggest rival to essentially replace Yadier Molina, who he should have been for the Cubs.
Yep.
Period.
Yep.
Make that move. Hold on to your people.
Yeah,
Like, I know that as an actual like a game caller or whatever you want, he's not the greatest, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like he can block the ball, but I mean, like, he doesn't call a great game. But offensively, you need the offense. You flat out need the offense.
Yeah,
you know?
he's definitely, again, he is a cornerstone. You guys had him, his rookie year was his 16th year, I believe. And he came out, and after Rossi retired, and he became the main catcher. He has Rossi as his manager. I mean, if you're not going to learn from one of the best callers of games, you have a manager. He can learn how to call a game. He's not like an old dog you can't teach new tricks to.
What are they going to rely on? Fucking Yan Gomes now?
You know what? You have Yan Gomes on your.
I mean,
roster.
he's a fine catcher. He was the best backup catcher in all of Major League Baseball last year. Like he could start at pretty much any team. You know what I mean? That you need a catcher. But I'm just saying, like, it's disappointing because that was your guy.
That was your guy. And again, right now we still have some free agents that are out there that you guys are courting. Whether it's
Christian Vasquez just signed.
Who do you sign with?
Let me tell you right now. Because I just saw that come across. Who? I mean, like, but you got to tell me who it is that the White Sox should be looking at right now, because that's driving me nuts as well. The fact that neither one of these teams are moving.
Yeah, right now. I mean, I would tell you right now. I want Dansby Swanson. Why can't I say his name today? Dansby Swanson. It would be one person. Obviously, I would love Correa too. I mean, those are the two main guys that you definitely would want on your team. I mean, let's be honest. I wanted Contreras on our team. I want to get rid of Grandal. I don't know why I can't speak today, but that's what it is. Abreu, I would have liked to see on the Cubs, to be honest with you. I think that would have been a great fit for him, but I think he wants to, get his bag and win at the same time. I would love to see Abreu hit, 40 bombs coming out of Wrigley, because he loves playing there, because it's a small ballpark, and especially in the daytime, that ball just, it jets out of there. And that was his type of ballpark, because he hits line drives. Another player that I wish the White Sox would have went after, would have been, what is his name? Yeah, Q. 2 years, $26 million. Yep. You put him in the back of the rotation. You know what you're going to get.
Nope.
He's going to
he's going to sit there and eat innings like he's been the last couple of years.
Yes.
I think he was on the Brewers. I know he was with
Pirates.
the Mets. He was with the Pirates, just eating innings and just staying an active major league pitcher, doing exactly what he does. He's reliable. You know exactly what you're going to get from him.
Yeah, so I mean, right now you're looking at outfields. Everybody's talking about Joey Gallo. I do not want Joey Gallo. That dude hits like 071, another DH. We don't need that in with the White Sox. I mean, that's the problem with the White Sox. They do a lot of. Let me get this DH or recommendation project. Let's see, 25 agents still standing. I mean, again, I still don't see anybody who's going to get.
There's a player that you wanted that you didn't get, and it was Brandon Nimmo.
Oh, that was Brandon. Yeah, Brandon. Well, he got a lot of money for what he's been producing. He's been injured a lot. I don't think he's worth the money that he did get, though. Do you?
I mean, not really, but I mean, again, this is free agency. You're overpaying at free agency. That is literally the name of the game, right? So I mean, he gets 8 years, $162 million to go back and stay with the Mets. Look, I mean, that's where he played. It's a lot easier to take that money when I already live there.
Yeah,
I don't have to get up and move.
Yeah,
I don't have to go for a new place, and you're gonna give me a bunch of money. I'm not gonna say no.
No, I hear you.
You know what I mean? Like, hey, like, are you thirsty? Not really. You want a beer? I mean, like, I'm not going to
take one.
No.
I'll take one.
No, right? Like, I'm shit. You want to give me one? I got one. That's how it works. So there's just it feels like there's a lot of stagnant movement coming on both sides of town. Another player that the Mets brought in was right-hander Kodai Senga, a Japanese player. They gave him a 5-year, $75 million contract. He is the prized pitcher of Japan, and he is a part of that free agent spending frenzy that has rocketed the Mets payroll past previous records. I was looking earlier, and I couldn't, like, the numbers that I was looking at on these payrolls and the league average for what these players are getting paid right now, it is nuts. The Cubs are like 104 million on the payroll, which is low right now.
Yeah,
that's like league average right now.
It's really bad, to tell you the truth, because if you look at what the White Sox could have done, you look at, they're a couple years too late. They're a dollar short all the time. In 2019, Bryce Harper signed for 13 years, $330 million with the Phillies, right? So he's making $26 million a year. These guys are now making $40 million a year. Look at Judge's contract, and then his contract drops down to $22 million a year for the last 3 when he's at what, 36 at that point. So that's going to be a super cheap contract at that point for that caliber of a player. Springer in 21 signed 6 years for $150 million with the Blue Jays.
So and here's the thing too, is that I was looking at those numbers too, and most of those are heavy back end deals, right? So like the first couple seasons, they're only making, I forget who. Oh, it's Tatis. I looked at like his first, I think this last year he made like 7 million, and then next year it's like 10 million and 11 million. Like the last 4 seasons when he's like, late 20 or late 30s, it goes to like 36 million a year. So I mean, a lot of these deals are back ended, and they figure, okay, hey, if you last this long, this is your money. I mean, we're gonna have to, if you get traded, somebody's gonna have to pay you some money.
Correct.
Contract, you know what I mean? Shit, I think I saw something today where the in the Trey Turner's year age 41 season or whatever it is, the Mets will still be paying Bobby Bonilla in 73 at that time. So I mean, like, hey, you make your money. But yeah, I mean, some of these payroll numbers, let me take a look here. So I mean, right now, going into the 2023 season, the Mets with their 40-man roster, their roster at 40 with a 26-man payroll, $253,758,332. Okay, then you go down to the Mets with 207 million, Phillies 175, Padres 172, and the Braves at 162. Dodgers are actually in 7th at 152, and the Cubs are at 14th with 104. And you know what the Cardinals are at? 115, and that the difference right there. That's a 1 Wilson Contreras is the difference between the payroll of those two teams right now. But that also tells you that they have money tied up in guys like who's the damn pitcher? I just saw him on there. The pitcher that they signed last year, Marcus Stroman. You got Stroman's owed a lot of money. Yeah, Stroman's owed a lot of money, and then they got Seiya. So there's a couple of players that they owe money to, but even at that point, you're still at 104 million. So you're literally league average right now, because that's a 101 million is league average.
Yeah, unless you're
not spending that money. I don't understand. The Sox, even the Sox are more than the Cubs right now. The Sox are 139.
Yeah, 139, because you put a lot of stock into those young players, Robert and Eloy and Tim and Moncada all got paid early at a cheap.
If you look at their contracts, they're relatively cheap compared
very
to the
cheap.
rest of the market.
Yeah, the White Sox picked up the option on Tim Anderson, and it's super cheap for a shortstop of his production. If you look at what we need a second baseman, and we need possibly 2 outfielders. Left available at second base, you have Adam Frazier, Josh Harrison, Cesar Hernandez, who we used to have.
Josh Harrison too?
Yeah, that too, right? Yeah. Odor, Villar, Chang, Peraza, Alberto, O-Wings. Yeah, I mean, I love Wings, but not O-Wings. And Walton. So, I mean, all these guys are not worth it. They're nothing that you should be, excited about. I mean, and unless one of these guys is going to turn into a switch positions at shortstop, like Swanson, Andrews, Iglesias, even Danny Mendick is up there. Anderson Simmons, Gonzalez and Gregorius. Those guys ain't switching positions at this point. I think Danny Mendick's proved that he can hit and field, and he'll probably pick up a backup spot on a winning team. But there's nobody there besides Swanson and Correa, and probably. I mean, do you want to take a chance on Iglesias?
I mean, you can. Well, shit. At this point, what is it?
I mean, literally, at this point, you're throwing shit against the wall and see if it sticks. I mean, for the White Sox, I mean, unless you're gonna go with the young kids and bring somebody up from the minors, but there's nobody at second base that would be exciting to bring up right now. I don't think they're even ready. Anybody at your third baseman's pretty solid, but I mean, would you take a Justin Turner at the age of 38 or Langora?
You know what I mean? And that's the thing is that that's the position where the old man plays, right? That's third or first. You know what I mean? Like you don't have to worry about getting your ass over there too quick. You'll get there eventually. The fat guy, old guy who plays third base, right? I mean, let's be honest.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Unless you have a prospect like Chris Bryant, but he can play outfield anyway. Unless you're talking about a guy like Nolan Arenado, who is just a very good, third baseman. That's why he wins Gold Gloves.
Yep.
So I mean, that's what it is. But I mean, like a team like this right now doesn't need a 38-year-old player, a 39-year-old player. Those guys are the guys that perfectly fit on the fucking Dodgers.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So who is coming up on the Dodgers where they don't need Turner anymore? Because he's been a very important piece to them winning championships.
Yeah, they got rid of both Turners and they got rid of Peterson. Yeah. They got rid of like a bunch of players that have come up through their system. And I think a lot of it has to do with the Mookie Betts contract, where they're going to turn over these big contracts away. Because they feel like, we've got to get younger, we got to get more production, we got to do more of a long term. They're probably going to take a step or two back now that with San Diego, snapping and buying a bunch of free agents. But as we've seen time and time again, sometimes that doesn't always equate a winning team or winning a championship pedigree. How many times have we seen the Mets and the Padres do this year after year?
The Mets. See, here's the thing.
The Mets haven't won anything since what? The Subway Series.
That's what I'm saying is you got to look at recent vintage because you can't. You go back in time. It's been traditionally the Yankees and the Dodgers to get all those players, right? So now you're seeing teams that play against the Yankees and the Dodgers finally saying, I'm tired of this shit. I'm going to do it myself.
Yeah.
And that's what the Mets are doing. And that's what the Padres are doing. And that's what the Boston Red Sox did to finally get over the hump, right? So like, that's what you did. You had to build an all-star team to get past those guys. Or you could do it the homegrown way like the Rays do. And they just like somehow find all these guys. You're like, hey, everyone, let's go scout, DR and Venezuela and bring everyone over here. Like, you don't speak English, it doesn't matter. You'll never learn. You live in Florida. You're good. So like they just come on, they bring them over, and all of a sudden they got this all-star team full of nobodies you never heard of. It's like the all Latin America all-star team, and they go up there and what they do, they beat up on the Yankees and they beat up on the Red Sox. They don't do much when it comes to the time to the playoffs. I mean, but they do it. So what you're seeing is a retaliation by teams that have been tired of dealing with Yankees bullshit and with the Dodgers bullshit, and you're seeing other teams come up to like I said, if you can't beat them, beat them at their own game, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, how much did the Mets spend already? 360 million
all
this
of it.
year?
They spent all the money. Like, you had more money? They're like, yeah, I guess. I mean, fire up the printer. Like,
oh my God, I can't. Who's really happy about that is our friend Anthony Fuentes.
Yeah, I know.
I'm gonna have to go buy a Mets hat. I'm gonna buy a Mets hat. I'm gonna buy a Mets hat just so I can go take a picture with him because I know he's fucking ecstatic right now, especially since the Jets are in the playoff hunt as well.
Yeah, I mean, that's a hell of a time to be a Mets and a Jets fan.
Right, the second tier teams. I can relate.
Well, we need to have him come back and so he can talk shit all about that. Give him a platform to speak all his shit on.
Oh, definitely. I'll definitely book him for the next in a couple weeks. I'll get him in before the end of the year. I'm looking at left fielders right now because the White Sox need one because they have Spider-Man that's going to be DHing most of the time. I swear to God, that's a marketing ploy right there. Dress him up as Spider-Man as a bobblehead, and people will come in droves. There'll be 45,000 people at the U.S. Soldier or the guarantee rate or whatever the fuck you want to call it these days. I'm really pissed off at the White Sox, as you can tell. So if I'm overdue dogging them, but look at left fielders, Joey Gallo. I don't need another reclamation project. But
what are you talking about, dude? That is exactly what the White Sox love. They're like, hey, did you have a lot of potential once? Dallas Keuchel, come on over. I got a spot for you on the bench.
That's exactly what happens with these teams. Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's no way.
That's a Reinsdorf move.
Yeah, it is. Andrew Benintendi, I would love to have him. Love him. But they're not going to buy him. They're not going to get him. Profar, maybe. Fam, a little too old.
Come on, fam.
Yeah, center fielders. Nemo's out the picture now.
Hey, listen, if Tommy Pham comes over to the White Sox, I might have to buy a shirt that just says Pham on it.
I mean, yeah, there you go. That
reminds me of my guy, Mike One.
There you go. There's Billy Hamilton's only 32. I thought that dude was 42.
Because that dude. Let me tell you something. At 32, he probably looks the same as he did when he was 18, and he's gonna look the same when he's 72. Right? Like he's thin. He's got the dreads. They're just gonna be longer. Like he's gonna be that same. He's gonna be that cat sitting on the side of like, it wasn't a show back in the day.
Going to right field, which we need to. There's nobody out there. Will Myers, no, thank you. Michael Conforto, that's an interesting name. That's the name that the guy who didn't play for a whole year after an injury. The White Sox were feeling him out. Maybe bring him in this year, maybe not. And
he had like two different injuries where he missed a whole year or something like that.
Yeah, he missed the COVID year for an injury and then had another injury that took him out the whole year. But you're looking at Michael Conforto, who's only 30 and hasn't played in 2 years. So you can say, he's 28 in baseball years? I don't know what you want to say. But, I mean, that's one person I would take a flyer on because he was having such a good season before he got hurt, and he's only 30. You maybe give him a 1 or 2 year deal and plug right field. And then with left field, you can put in, Vaughn over there and Spider-Man and Larry Garcia, who plays every damn position.
Larry.
Anybody you want out of these lists, man?
I want to talk about who I want to talk specifically about who the Cubs didn't get, and I want to talk about who they have in the minors that I think they're waiting on. But I'm going to do that next segment.
Oh, you're going to do that next segment. All right, let me finish it off this segment then with the White Sox. They actually did add somebody. They added this past Friday, signing Victor Reyes to a minor league deal. Surprise, surprise! Bring out the streamers from the Detroit Tigers, who outright Reyes on November 10th, and he opted to become a free agent after rejecting his AAA assignment. Reyes' deal with the White Sox includes a non-roster invite to spring training. Reyes becomes the leading candidate to fill Chicago's fourth outfielder spot because they cut Adam Engel, who was having a pretty good season until Tony got here. Switching outfielder can play all three outfield positions, obviously, because he needs a job. And he's well above average arm, but the Venezuelan doesn't come close to matching the speed and defensive capability of Adam Engel. I just said that. Victor Reyes' addition to the White Sox to the 40-man roster, so they have a lot of people on there. They non-tendered Engel. Pollock opted out of his contract. Eloy is going to take over at DH. You're looking at Vaughn. He's going to return to his natural position at first. Huh?
Pollock just left.
Who left?
AJ Pollock was like, fuck this, I'm out.
Yeah, fuck yeah, he did. He was one of those guys with him and the other two pitchers. We have Lance Lynn and the slider getting pissed off at the Latin guys because they're just fucking around in the clubhouse laughing it up, and it's like, motherfuckers, we just lost 4 fucking games in a row. Why are you guys all happy? They called them out, and that's probably what Pollock left. He said this clubhouse is not doing what it's supposed to do. It was a really fractured clubhouse, and people don't report that a lot, but it really was.
You know who would have fixed that?
Ozzy.
AJ Hinch.
AJ Hinch. We probably would have won the AL championship. I know you called that a while ago.
I've been saying that shit for 3 years now.
Yeah. I know Rick Hahn's over here sitting on his fucking hands, not doing shit.
I still. First of all, the fact that it sounds like he got to pick a manager this time is amazing in itself, okay? But I mean, like, who in the fuck, who is signing with this guy knowing that he has no autonomy to get who he wants? It's all going to be reclamation projects.
Yes.
It's all it is, because you look at what happened with that organization last year. Everyone on God's green earth knows that managerial hire of Tony La Russa had nothing to do with the GM whatsoever. So I mean, like, they're like, well, why am I even going to deal with you when I have to sit there? I'm not negotiating with the GM. I'm negotiating. You're a puppet for this guy over here. Yeah. I want to pull back the curtain and talk to Oz.
Yeah, and that's exactly what happened. I mean, you're looking at the guy he hired was Pedro Grifol, and I'm like, okay, he's a good baseball lifer. That's great.
What you said was who? Yeah. That's what you said. Let's be honest.
I did. I had
to Google his shit 3 times, and that's because I kept misspelling it.
And I did my research, and he's a baseball lifer. He's one of those guys that he's a Ricky Renteria. He's going to teach the guys.
Swim. Seriously.
He's a what?
Remember Dale Swaim?
Oh, yeah. That's
who he is.
Yes.
From Kansas City. Yeah. Dale Swaim. Here you go.
Yeah.
Who? Exactly.
Yeah.
EUEM. Come on, man.
Yeah. It cut out. I couldn't hear you. Fucking Zoom. So pretty much what I'm saying is, like, this guy's another reclamation project. Like, hey, we're gonna give you a shot after we missed on AJ Hinch.
Yeah, well,
The guy that he really wanted, they handcuffed him.
3 years too late, whatever it was.
Exactly, and this is what I'm telling you right now. If the White Sox are not doing well at the trade deadline, you fucking blow it up all over again, and you fucking fire everybody from head to fucking toe. Sell the fucking team. I don't give a fuck. I'm tired of fucking losing. I want to be the Mets. I want to fucking go out there and just go for broke and spend all my fucking money to go see a game because we have a fucking all-star team like the Dodgers, the Yankees, now the Mets, fucking Padres. The fucking Padres are spending money. Texas.
What do you think they're, because we know what the Cubs revenue is, and I mean, here's the thing you got to remember about the Cubs. I mean, despite the fact that they did all that work outside and with Gallagher Way and all the shops and everything that was put around there, that's not all paid for by the Cubs. You have stores that operate, you have restaurants that operate out of there. I know that there is a restaurant owned by the Cubs. I know that the hotel is owned by the Cubs, but other than that, you have other retailers renting space there, and that's how, you know what I mean? Even though you got the Cubs clubhouse and all that stuff, these other vendors are paying to have their space there, right? So you're making some money off of that, and you better be making a lot of money off of that, considering the fact that, like, the amount of money that you've already put into this project. Now, we know that the attendance dropped quite a bit for the Cubs this year, like the lowest it was in like 15 years or whatever, for good reason, because, you know, you're seeing that right now it was a lay down year. Everyone was like, well, it's to see what happens here. It's the exact same thing that we're dealing with the Chicago Bears right now. Let's see what happens. Let's see which one of you guys pans out, and some will and some won't, right? We saw that with Schwindel. We saw that with P-Wizzy, Pat Wisdom, right? So we're kind of going through it right now. But the problem is that the White Sox did all this work to build a homegrown team, and it's just not clicking. And there's, I'm gonna tell you, the most interesting thing that's gonna happen this upcoming season is the fact that you have lost your leader in the clubhouse in Abreu. And I think I talked about it before, about Tim Anderson having to be the guy that steps up. But here's the kicker right here. Ready? Yeah. How much Spanish does TA speak? I want to know. I mean, he's had to learn some in passing, right?
Dame la pelota. That's probably what he knows. And tacos.
La pelota. Like that's cool and all, and that's, like, you know, it's a cute parlor trick. But here's the thing: what is the percentage of players, especially your position players, that are of Latin descent? And Abreu was the elder statesman there, and he was supposed to be that key to all these young Hispanic guys coming from Venezuela and DR and all these other places, right? He's gone. You got all the Cubans on that team. Hey, so what are you gonna do? Are they gonna respect and listen to TA and let him be the leader, or are they gonna have to sit there and you got Manny Grandal? He does what cachet does he have with that team? Just that he's old?
No, because he's never there. He's always hurt. What the White Sox are counting is that Peter Grafel is going to be a great communicator, and he's going to bring this team together. I'm going to tell you right now, these guys are set in their ways. They don't fucking hustle. They don't play great defense, and they pout like fucking 2-year-olds when they don't get their way. And
it feels like this team is made up of a bunch of guys who were told they were the best forever, and then because you might have some fucking, you know, a dirt farm, right? They came out there, they had a stick and no shoes and a soda can, or a pop can, thank you very much, that they were hitting down the block, right? That was their whole baseball training, and they just happened to hit that can the farthest, you know what I mean? And they get down to one of these baseball academies that MLB has set up, and they make all this money, even though it's not that much money. And they think their shit don't stink no more. Yeah. So instead of playing like a team, they're playing like different entities who happen to be on the same team.
Yeah, we talked about that last week, where you got these guys who, like you said, they were told their shit doesn't stink. They came up to the ranks really fast, and they were the next coming. And guess what? The White Sox are like, well, you know what? We don't want to pay we don't pay people in free agency very well, so let's secure the bag now and have them for long term for super cheap. And guess what? If it works, we're fucking geniuses. But guess what? That fucking bag just exploded and you got shit all over your face, Rick Hahn. So guess what?
I'm going to tell you what happened, okay? They went to the Verizon store and they wanted to get that brand new iPhone, right? But they said, nah, I'm not paying like, you know, what, $2,000 for a new iPhone. I'm going to go check out Boost Mobile. Because Boost Mobile, you know, they hook you up. You got that like iPhone-like device, like it's not quite an iPhone, but it's like an iPhone with an iPhone. It's very similar, but it's just like iPhone adjacent, right? It's not quite an iPhone. And then they're like, well, what's your cellular service? Oh, we just leech off of the other towers. Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, that's kind of okay. Yeah, let me see. All right, you got any baseball players that are exactly like that? Because that's what I want. I want all of them. I don't want that Verizon shit. I don't need the whole plan, right? You're not sucking me up in a 2-year plan for all that money. I'll take that shit on the side, right? Like, did he just return that phone? I want that one right there. That one that he returned. He dropped it. It don't matter. It's cool. I'll take the crack screen, all that shit. That is how they shop.
Yeah, they really do shop at the thrift store with the broken toys with one arm. The paint's coming off the fucking He-Man.
See, here, it's not even a thrift store. And I'm going to tell you from experience, the thrift store, you'll find some shit that people didn't know what they had, right? And if the example you could use there is if they had someone that they were not playing that was very good and they sent him off to another team and they're like, all of a sudden he blossomed. How come the White Sox didn't know about that? No.
That did happen. Tatis.
Well, yeah, but I mean, that was a desperation move, but they knew how good he could be, right? That's the difference. The difference is that they're not even going after that shit because they're just trying to do what they can with what they got. That's the difference. And even if you got the money, you don't want to. What?
Yeah.
Why am I this revved up over a team I don't even root for?
Because it's still Chicago at the end of the day, especially when you're gonna go ask for a permit from the city of Chicago so you can build a fucking bar out there and try to be like Wrigley, but that won't put that money back into the fucking team.
Okay, make it make sense.
Yeah, exactly. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we'll be right back with more 3 Up and 3 Down. This time we'll break down the Cubs right after these messages.
I think I'll perplex him with my slow ball.
1, 2, 3 strikes, you're out.
Hey, true Chicago sports fans, show off your Chicago pride with some fresh clothes from Grit Clothing Company. At Grit Clothing, they create that simple yet classic style that represents that Chicago Southside lifestyle. From t-shirts to hoodies, hats to glassware, they've got you covered. Grit has everything you need to represent your Chicago pride, so do it right now. Check out gritclothingco.com and use the promo code TrueFan15. TrueFan15. For 15% off your entire order. Let me say it again. That's gritclothingco.com and use the promo code TrueFan15 for 15% off of your entire order.
Hey guys, it's Steven.
And this is Sean, and you are listening to True Chicago Sports Fans.
Don't forget to listen to No War on the Weekend. New episodes on Monday. You can find us anywhere you listen to podcasts.
Yeah, so we're going to go do a couple of shots. So let's kick it back over to Big Z and E-Rock.
No Water on the Weekend.
Welcome back to the True Chicago Sports Fans Podcast with E-Rock and Big Z.
Oh, yeah.
Welcome back to 3 Up and 3 Down. And now let's talk about the inaction of the Northsiders because I just almost had an aneurysm trying to figure out what the fuck the White Sox are doing. So don't even give me. I'm going to try to bring out my blood pressure and breathe when I talk about these Cubs. Because right now I'm looking at 2 guys that should be on the Chicago. Three guys that should be on the Chicago Cubs. That are not on the Chicago Cubs, and there are 3 names that I mentioned, 2 at least that I mentioned a little bit earlier.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Xander Bogaerts. How the hell you didn't go? Like, Correa is still out there, and that's last year when he was the one, right? The Twins gave him that weird ass 1 year. Let's see what happens deal. Really, just he had to sit there and rot and watch his old team and his replacement win the World Series.
Yep.
And win the World Series MVP while he sat there. And I remember a specific moment, I believe it was in the playoffs, because the Twins were out of it. He joined the studio crew, and he had to interview Pena during one of these the playoff appearances. And I'm like, man, how salty has he got to be just left that team, and they win the World Series?
It's crazy because all stories, in the middle of the season, it's like, oh yeah, he's practicing with us. He goes, on his days off, he calls us, and we're doing all this stuff with the Twins. All the young guys are loving him, and he's telling them he's coming back. And then the World Series happens. He's like, motherfucker, the grass isn't greener on the other side. He went to take the bag, and you don't get a championship. So it's either one or the other. You're either going to take the bag and get the money, like Scherzer did in New York, or you're going to go try to win a championship. Scherzer's at the end of his career, so you understand that. But Correa is in his prime right now, so he opted out. And he's like, all right, let's see who can pay me, and I can take a little bit of a cut, but can I win somewhere, or can I build a winning culture around me?
Yeah, and that's the thing is that if you look at the list of the shortstop free agents that were available, right? You got your Trey Turner, you got Xander Bogaerts, you got Carlos Correa, and you got Dansby Swanson.
Mm-hmm.
Swanson and Correa are still out there, right?
Sign them both.
Correa is the youngest. Correa is only 28, right? So you're talking about a guy that should be going into the prime of his career right now.
Oh, yeah.
And sitting there and sitting there and sit there. And you look at, like I said, what the Padres are doing. Well, hey, we have an all-star caliber shortstop. Let's go ahead and take another one and replace him and figure out what we're going to do with that shit later. Let's stack our chips instead of like, I don't know, man. You go ahead and take my chips. Nope, stack your fucking chips. And we're not seeing it's wild to not see any movement. I'm not surprised about White Sox not making a lot of movement because that's kind of how their track record is, right? But we've seen the Cubs make hits, right? Even when they went after a guy like Jock Peterson, trying to make sure that you continue to fill out that roster, and when they went out and got who am I thinking of right now?
Melky Cabrera.
No. Jason, when the Cubs brought in Jason Hayward, who just signed a minor league deal with the Dodgers, and like literally half of that, 2016 team, John Lester, John Lackey, like all these guys that they brought in as free agents, and now it's like they're sitting on their hands, they're waiting to see where the other shoe's going to drop. Well, pretty soon he's going to be running out of shoes, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, you look at Bogaerts, who the Cubs should have had. There's no reason I couldn't went after him. Right?
Yep.
You got Trey Turner, who went over there and joins the Phillies. The rich getting richer, right?
Mm-hmm.
So now we're sitting here and we're looking at the guy that I've been talking about for a year and a half now, in Wilson Contreras. Wilson Contreras, who, like I said, left the Cubs to go be Yadier Molina's replacement, who he should have been for the Cubs. He should have been our Yadier Molina, and I've said that several times. And the amount of money that he got for that small amount, 5 years, okay, what is it, 80-something million? Like he's making like $10 million a year. It's cheap. Ridiculous. Okay, now you just lost Christian Vasquez because he got a 3-year deal with Minnesota. So who the hell knows what they're going to do, because they just let Gary Sanchez walk out the door.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, you look at what are you going to do at catcher? Okay, like I said, Yan Gomes is going to be your guy.
You got Miguel Amaya and Yan Gomes.
Okay.
Amaya's your young buck. He's 23, 6'2".
I know Amaya, but I mean, that's what I'm saying. Like, why wouldn't you, I don't know, you allow that guy to come up in the system, right? Unless you think that he's ready now. Is that what's going, do you think that they have enough faith in this young guy to know that he'll be able to step in and be productive in a year?
No way. That kid is not ready yet. You got to learn under the tutelage of one of the veterans. And I mean, Yan Gomes is a veteran that can teach him a lot of stuff, but I don't think he's the guy. Like, you had David Ross, who was your main catcher, and then you had, Contreras underneath him. He learned a lot from a guy who was at the end of his career. Yan Gomes is still playing and still doing his thing. I mean, I don't think that they have faith in him, but also, like, I don't see the Cubs signing one of these free agent catchers who is out there for free agent catchers. I think we talked about that. Like, there's really not much out there.
Yeah, you got Gary Sanchez, like I just mentioned. You got George Alfaro, who's 30 years old. Tucker Barnhart, who's 32. Jason Castro, old man, 36. Roberto Perez is 34.
Mm-hmm.
Austin Hedges is out there at 30 years old. Sandy Leon is 34.
I would say Omar Narvaez. He's got some pop in his bat. He can.
31 years old.
He can call a game. He calls really good games.
So, I mean, and it's not like the Cubs have been shy about bringing in a guy like that before. So, I mean, like, if you're looking for someone to be around, because, I mean, that's a pretty long list when you look at, like, who has major league eligibility and can't go back to the minors. That's what your free agents are, essentially, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, like, you look at that list going up and down. Omar Narvaez will be your only option if you're trying to pair him off with someone like Yan Gomes just for the season. You know what I mean? You can give Omar Narvaez 2 years and feel okay about that.
Yeah, I'm over here looking at the Cubs minor league system, and it gives you their position and their estimated time of arrival, their ETA. You're looking at. I'm looking for a catcher, Miguel Amaya's for next year, so they have him projected to be on the opening day roster. And that's the only catcher that's on there. Do you have another catcher? But he doesn't look like he'll be ready until 2025. Moises Ballesteros. Ballesteros.
That guy's only 19 years old.
Was that part of the Yu Darvish deal?
I'm not sure.
Because, they traded for 17 and 18-year-olds, and it's been a couple of years. But I don't see anybody there. And, the free agent market is pretty dry. So, I don't know. I mean, I don't think that letting Contreras go was the best idea moving forward. When you said you're going to spend money and being competitive, that is not a move that looks like it's going to be competitive.
I mean, the thing is that, again, I think shortstop is the biggest need of concern because you look at what they have coming up in the majors and what they don't have right now. Who's major league ready, right? You got guys like Brennan Davis and Canario who look like they're going to be coming up, this upcoming season. So you should be okay when you're filling in outfield spots. You lose Hayward, but you got Seiya and you got Ian Happ, so you should be good there. And bringing up Davis. You know what I mean? Like you should have enough talent there to be able to, and you also have Christopher Morel, who's been who really came up last year and did really well. You got a couple of pitchers coming up when you look at who should be ready this upcoming season. Hayden Wesniewski, Caleb Killian, and Ryan Johnson all look like they should be coming up this year. And you're talking about the guys that are already 25 years old. So I mean, like we're looking at 20. Realistically, you want your guys to come up when they're in their 23, 24-year-old season, right? Because hey, you ready? We knew you were ready, right? But yeah, Miguel Amaya is only 23, so I mean, it looks like next year should be when he's going to be coming up. And when you look up and down, who is actually sitting in the minors, you got a guy like Pete Crow Armstrong, who's been fantastic. That's the guy right there to really look for because when he comes up, I'm wondering how they're going to figure out the end of the outfield. Because Ian Happ, I think, has 1 year left on his deal.
Yep,
if I'm not mistaken. So you got him and you got Alcantara right there. Yep. Kevin Alcantara right there, baby. So they're lurking right there. And Alcantara's a big kid, 6'6", 188. I mean,
we're talking about your outfield. You have such a plethora of outfielders, of young outfielders on your roster now and coming up. So you're gonna have a lot of guys pushing up against that glass ceiling. And you're going to have a lot of competition, and it's going to be like, hey, are you producing? No? Okay, cool. Then we'll send you down because you still have options, and we're going to bring the next kid up. And you have that ability to show out. All right, here you go. You're at the show. Show me what you got. And guess what? You have the capability of like, all right, I can't keep all of them. So now you have the ability, you have currency for a trade and get yourself a veteran on the pitching staff or maybe fill a hole after an injury. You're going to have that currency to get yourself even better. Because I'm looking at your outfielders and you have a bunch of good outfielders that showed up at the end of the season because I was watching Cubs baseball because it was way more exciting than it was for the White Sox. And let's be honest, I'm telling you, last year I watched a lot of Cubs game because it was exciting to watch these kids ball out and show what they got and going for.
They were excited. I mean, You look at what was the difference between the Cubs record and the Sox record at the end of the day?
Not much.
It was, 5 games?
Not much.
And for a team that literally sent everybody away. Everyone, you go, you're gone. Every fucking body. They kept Ian Happ and Contreras, and that was it. But yeah, I mean, look, Brent, you got Brendan Davis coming up soon, and we talk about PCW. I talk about how good he's been. But yeah, I mean, you look at you still got Ed Howard out there.
That was my next question.
And then Christian Hernandez is another guy, but he's only 19 years old. He's in rookie ball right now. So I mean, there are a lot of interesting things that are going to be in movement because who is going to fill these spots that they need? That's the question.
Yeah, that's confusing because I think Nico Horner did a pretty good job, but I still think that you have to replace him with someone even better. Is it going to be one of the rookies that comes up? Is it going to be Ed Howard? Is he MLB ready? I mean, they're projecting for 24. I thought he should have been up last year, but then he got hurt. He would have been up last year without the injury because they brought up all the kids to see what they had. But I don't know what his progress is at the moment, but he is ranked 20th right now. He's lower than Kevin Made. And did Kevin Made play this year? I didn't. I don't remember seeing him on the field this year.
I'm not sure. I'm not familiar.
I'm not familiar with the name, so I don't think he came up. So right now you're looking at your Nico Horner as your starting shortstop, and I don't really think that's enough. Again, also at second base with Nick Madrigal not staying healthy year after year, and he's no longer Nicky Two Strikes for you. He's a Nicky ground out and strikeout.
Nah, let me tell you something. I'm done with Madrigal. You can have me. I don't care what he does. I don't have the patience to deal with him. I feel like he reminds me of Tyrus Thomas, where like he doesn't understand how to properly control his body when he goes after the ball. Tyrus Thomas had this problem where he would jump too high for the rebound and then like catch it at his chest. And I'm like, you were like fucking 8 feet in the sky. Like you need to figure out how to jump properly. And he had a weird thing around the basket, but you know that's what I feel about Madrigal. Like you see him like drift over. He takes weird angles sometimes, like, and he just like he has like these little tiny baby hands, like this little carny that came out. He's like, all right, I unhooked the tilt-a-whirl. Now let's go out and play some baseball. Like you little fucking weirdo. Like go away. Like it was so promising when you were first with the White Sox and you just flamed out enough to be traded for a guy like Kimbrel. Like and the Sox had no problem getting rid of you either. No. Here we go.
No, they saw exactly what was on field. Yeah, they saw exactly what was on the field, and they knew that was a tradable chip that you guys needed and you to be honest with you, you still won that trade because you got Cody Hoyer out of it, and Cody Hoyer is going to be a stud for you. I know he's listed as a relief pitcher, but he can be a starter, and I think that's something that you guys should look at as Cody Hoyer because he has nasty stuff. He's also coming off, the Tommy John, so they might ease him in the bullpen. And
but everyone has Tommy John now. Like a lot of there was even stories of like people having it like in high school just to make sure that they had it already, right? Like just elective surgery type shit.
Yeah. So, but again, that kid's a stud. He's got nasty stuff. He reminds me of Cease on how nasty his stuff is. He just has to mature into his body and mature on learning how to pitch rather than being a power pitcher.
You mentioned Kevin Made. I'm pretty sure his last name is not Made, but it's Made because he is from the Dominican, and so he was on the same team as Ed Howard. So he actually played a lot at third base, but they're saying he's a no doubt shortstop. So that's who he is. Yeah. So I mean, like now you look at Ed Howard. That's another one. Is he going to be a trade chip and stuff like that? But he's a big boy. He's 6'2" and he's from Chicago. So and if you remember, he was from the Jackie Robinson West Little League team way back when. So there's interesting names sitting here when you look up and down the prospect list, but at the same time, you still have to fill out a major league roster, right? We still don't know who's going to be playing first base for the Cubs right now. No. We still don't know. No. Are you going to try to fit someone in that spot, or like what are you going to do? Like what are you going to do at first base, right?
Yeah, I don't know. Do you sign a veteran for super cheap just to be a placeholder? Because you do have a first baseman coming up pretty soon. Is he ready? I don't know. I mean,
Matt Mervis is a while away.
Is he okay? So he's a while away. So I mean, do you sign? Who's this guy? Who was it? The DH I kept looking at that. People were like, oh, yeah, you should sign him. The White Sox should sign him. I'm like, no, we're good on DHs. He played for. That's his name, Nelson Cruz.
So you're talking about Nelson Cruz. I mean, look, that dude. Like the reason his name is Cruz is because he came on the first cruise from wherever the hell he came from in the first place, right? The first ever one, right? Where he got a paddle and shit. Like that dude, I'm pretty sure was on the 27 Yankees. Like that's how long he's been around.
Damn, way to burn the man. Jesus.
I'm just saying, like he is forever old. Like you ever heard of Forever Young? He is forever old. Like he's been old since Sam Jackson was young. Like that's how old he is.
So, do you got who do you sign? I mean, everybody that's a first baseman is old.
Unless you're gonna sit there and trot Alfonso Rivas out there and feel good about that, which I can't imagine that you will. Or PJ Higgins, the guy that the 5'10" guy that took a chance last year. He's a natural catcher, but I mean, there is no one on this roster. There's no one on this roster that can play first. I'm just going through the whole thing. There's no one on this roster. Period. The whole outfield is this is crazy. Left field, you got Ian Happ, right? Center, you got Velasquez and Morel, and right, you got Sayup. Okay, Velasquez is going to be your floating outfielder right now.
Well, Bellinger plays first.
Oh, does he really?
Yeah, he plays first. There's your first baseman right there.
Okay, well then they get
and he's a lefty.
Now here's the interesting thing: the Cubs' current rotation is Marcus Stroman, Javier Assad, who came up the last game of the season last year, and Adrian Sampson. That's their entire rotation right now.
Yeah, Hendricks,
but I think he was hurt, so I don't think they have him on the 40. It's crazy. This team.
I mean, is Justin Steele on there or no?
Let me see who you got. You got
He came up. He comes up there.
So that's your four. That's your. You got Adzale, who was hurt. That's the problem. Is you got a lot of these guys that are, and what they're calling their 40-man
roster. Yeah,
roster right now. Then you got Miguel Amaya on there, and I think that's just so you can go into your winter ball and all that stuff to play with. They got the guy they got from, what is it, the Mets, Miles Masturbator? What, Masturbator?
Yeah,
Mastro Broly. Sure. Yeah, I got that guy. And yeah, so I mean, like, these are a lot of guys that you're not going to remember in a couple years. That's the problem. It's like, unless they like just snap and they're amazing, you're not going to hear from most of these guys. Keegan Thompson, I guess, is a starter. And I actually like Keegan Thompson. He's got a lot of motherfucker in him. Like I feel I feel like he's the type of dude that he strikes you out. He's like, yeah, motherfucker.
That's the kind of guy you want on your team. I would think you have a 4-man rotation right now. It's just figuring out the fifth man, and you have a lot, like you said, a lot of guys in there in the 40-man rotation that are question marks. You have Caleb Killian, you got Ryan Jensen. You're looking at, we don't know what's going on with Kyle Hendricks on his last year of his contract. Assad came up for a cup of coffee. Alizé, we know what he is already. And then again, like I said, your question mark is what they're going to do with Cody Hoyer, because he was projected to be your starter at some point, but he got hurt. And are they going to ease him in? I don't know where he is at on his rehab, but again, you put him at the 5 and you rotate the 5 out, in and out every other week. Put a different 5 out there. I think that he'll bring him along, and that way you limit his innings and you save him for meaningful games. So again, I think that the Cubs are okay with the pitching rotation because they had the best ERA in the second half of the season to end it. So I think they'll be fine. But as we both know, pitching can be very fickle. You can be great one year, and then the next year you can fucking shit the can and leave it all over the walls. So right now, I don't know how to look at this pitching staff. I have confidence they'll be okay, but you're also going to have a better Brewers team, a better Cardinals team. Yep. So you're facing
the Brewers and Cardinals, who both have Contreras catchers now. William Contreras was just traded to the Brewers in the deal that brought the A's catcher Sean Murphy over to the Braves. So it goes from one A hat to the other A hat, and Braves sent catcher Manny Pena to the Athletics and catcher Contreras to the Brewers. That's what I'm reading here. It's a lot of reading, which is hard. Anyway, so now both the fucking Brewers and the Cardinals, the most hated rivals of the Chicago Cubs, have a Contreras on there. So good for them that they're going to be closer, but fuck you both now.
I mean, they still live in Chicago. I mean, it's just St. Louis and it's just Milwaukee. It's a short drive either way.
They can do that. Put it together. Get a fucking tramp style. Eat a dick, you bastards. Anyway, yeah. So I mean, like, I think what's happening right now is that, I think what Chicago baseball fans in general just want is a Christmas gift. Like, give us something that we can hang our hat on. Give us something that we can brag to our friends about, whether we're a North Sider talking shit to our South Side friends or vice versa. I mean, we want something to brag about on Christmas, and we don't want to be sitting there still crying into our hats that we haven't signed anybody, because that's where we are at this point. The Cubs need to go ahead and make a splash and get one of the. I think you're still going to get people that talk shit about Correa because of everything that went on with the Astros. But I think for the Cubs to start putting asses back in seats, you need to get a high-profile guy on the roster and lock him up for a bunch of years, not just the way that the Twins did when they got Correa on that one-year deal. I don't know what I really don't understand the end game of that. If he was just trying to compete in this shortstop market when he could have just made a shit ton of money on whoever he wanted to sign with last year. I don't know if he was maybe waiting out the Cubs, like thinking that he would be able to come here next year. I really don't understand the move, but I feel like he knew what the writing was on the wall with the Astros. He knew that there was a kid that was going to be able to come up right behind him. So he's like, look, I'm going to do whatever I can to go get some money now.
Yeah, I mean, and you can't fault him for that. You're going to get his bag, but at the same time, what do you want? Is it the bag, or do you want the championships? And at the end of the day, the way you're going to be remembered is how you did on the field and how many championships you got, and that determines how you get into the Hall of Fame. So right now, am I hoping the Correa signs with the Cubs? Yeah, I really do, because the Cubs need that fucking that shot in the ass that projects them to their next winning window. That'll be one of their staples in the infield for a long time, and that's what you need. That's what we look for. in our teams, right? We got Tim Anderson, who's been there for a while, who's also crying that he might want to leave. Hey, see ya. But we want somebody who wants to be here for a long time on both sides of town, and you want somebody who's going to be good, that's not going to be a dickhead to the fans, that's going to do everything they can to represent Chicago.
Absolutely, and I think that's the most important thing on both sides of town. So I mean, I think overall, really what it is that we just want something to hang our head on at the end of the day, and make ourselves feel good, whether you're a North Sider or the South Sider. That's really what we want. And I think there's this thing out there too that both teams are being cheap, and I just don't know if that's true or if they feel like what they have, they need the pieces that they need to add to the team to kind of put them over the top, especially the White Sox. I feel like maybe they just don't think that person's there yet. Maybe they're waiting out till next season. I don't know. I still think that Reinsdorf is just not allowing that checkbook to be open. But from what we're hearing, the Northside owner is. So where are we missing here? Like, are you still thinking prospects are going to fill in those spots or what? But at the end of the day, you got to sign a free agent. You got to sign a high-profile free agent because, that biblical losses you were talking about during the pandemic year, that's going to continue. And pretty soon, Gallagher Way is going to be called something else because they're going to start splitting up that property and having to sell it off to other people.
Yeah, I think the Cubs, like you said, they have the money to spend. They've invested in the community and bought all that stuff out, and they have residual income year-round, so you have money to spend now, and there's no more excuses, right? They've been told that they're going to spend, and the White Sox, on the other hand, just like the Bulls, they go for the middle-tier free agents and reclamation projects, and I just don't think, Reinsdorf has always been, a day late and a dollar short when it comes to free agents and signing the best person out there.
He's like, are you at least 35? If not, you can't join the White Sox.
Does your Dominican birth certificate say you're 12? All right, you're in.
Well, I mean, I think either way, I still feel like by the time New Year comes around, we're still both going to be disappointed with what our teams are doing.
Yeah, so it'll be a very long baseball season on both sides of town, and even though we're gonna go, I still think it's not gonna be a pretty sight for Chicago baseball.
We might have to take some road trips for that just to make ourselves more satiated about baseball.
Sure, let's go. Not Ohio. Fuck Ohio.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we'll be right back with Stirring the Pot after a word from our sponsors.
I think I'll perplex him with my slow ball.
1, 2, 3 strikes, you're out.
Hey, true Chicago sports fans, show off your Chicago pride with some fresh clothes from Grit Clothing Company. At Grit Clothing, they create that simple yet classic style that represents that Chicago Southside lifestyle. From t-shirts to hoodies, hats to glassware, they've got you covered. Grit has everything you need to represent your Chicago pride. So do it right now. Check out gritclothingco.com and use the promo code TrueFan15.
TrueFan15.
For 15% off your entire order. Let me say it again. That's gritclothingco.com and use the promo code TrueFan15 for 15% off of your entire order.
This is Enrique Calderon coming to you from True Chicago Sports Fan Podcast. Come check me out on social media, Enrique Calderon Official on Instagram and Facebook. Check us out.
Y te lo dice
Enrique Calderon.
Welcome back to the True Chicago Sports Fan Podcast with E-Rock and Big Z.
Ho-ho-hos.
It's that time again, brother. You know what time it is.
Oh, boy.
It's time for Stirring the Pot. All right, man, what you got for us this week, man?
All right, bro. So I was out and about doing a little shopping. I don't even remember where did I find these damn things. I don't remember where I found them, but I found them. And even though it's the winter time, it's softball season for us all the time. So what I found were these are bacon mac and cheese. Bacon mac and cheese seeds. Right, I haven't tried them yet.
Okay,
but they looked interesting. I've had a couple of. I've had like the taco flavor and all that stuff. These are the David Jumbo bacon mac and cheese. So, and they really kind of sell it here with the they literally have a picture of mac and cheese with bacon on it, right?
Okay.
And I've seen that they have one that they call hamburger. All it is the dill flavor. It doesn't taste like hamburger at all. So for that reason, I'm out on that one. But for the bacon mac and cheese, I haven't tried it yet.
Okay.
But clearly, I'm interested in it. So, yay or nay on if you think that's gonna be good or not.
You know what? I'm gonna go with a yay. I think it's gonna be pretty good. It's gonna be salty. And it'll have some cheese flavors, so you can't go bad with either one of those flavors. So, and for that reason, I am in. Also because I have David sunflower seed shoes and T-shirt and sandals, so I am all in on David.
No matter the flavor. There's another brand I think called Biggs. They got like gigantic some. Most of the time that I see that, it's going to be that dill flavoring, which, like I said, I'm out. But this right here, I mean, like, I'm not going to eat this whole bag in a week. But so there'll be some here. We can talk about it after you try them.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Next week during the party, we'll give those a little whirl and see how we do. I'm excited for next week. I'm super excited for next week. We're going to have a lot of people from the 606 Media group, and we're going to have a lot of fun. We'll take a lot of pictures, and it's going to be a lot of shit talking.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, it's gonna be a lot of drinking. You know what I mean? Like, and it's football day too. So I mean, even for our non-sports show hosts that are gonna come through, it's just gonna be a lot of shit talking. Well, I'm sure we're gonna go through and play some records and you know drink some drinks. So there should be a good time. I do want to see if we can prevent maybe Steven from bringing Taco Bell. Just curb that shit now, bro. Isn't he part Mexican, if I'm not mistaken?
Yeah, he is.
Okay, I mean, like, you gonna tell me that you couldn't find a taqueria, like a real, like, just go get a, you know what I mean? Like, hey, put in the order now, bring the real tacos. Like, you ordered ahead at Taco Bell. I'm just saying, I'm just putting it out there, man. Like, you got once this is released, you got a couple of days to kind of, you know, figure those things out in your head. Especially like even coming this way, there's so many joints that have tacos.
Yeah. I don't know what he did with those 20 tacos he bought at Taco Bell, but I'm just sorry for his toilet and his toilet seat, his cushiony toilet seat that he keeps bragging about. I don't know what happened to those tacos. I don't want to know because I don't eat those beef tacos. But yeah, I'm excited for all the food we're gonna have.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. I'm still deciding what I'm gonna make. I'm gonna probably just make something simple, but I might just do a big ass thing of like pasta, because we haven't made like baked mastacholi with Italian sausage and all that shit. We haven't done that in a long time. Long time. That used to be like a staple. And I stopped eating pasta like that.
Right, because you were in keto for a while. So I'm down for it, brother.
Yeah. The pasta and the rice and all that, I haven't done it. So that'll be exciting. We'll have a lot of fun, a lot of drinks, and you know, we'll have our, like I said, our recreational tree will be there, so that'll be a good time. Let's see what I remember. All right, man, before we go, what you looking at? What have you been watching that isn't sports?
Really, I've been out so much that I haven't been really watching much. I usually put while I'm working or doing some chores around the house. I still have Smallville on. I'm on the last season 10 of Smallville, halfway through it. He's about to become Superman, so it's kind of exciting to see all those things, and a lot of guest stars. Pam Grier was on there. You had a couple of stars from Lois and Clark on there. There's a lot of cameos from different stars from different shows and different movies. So it's been nostalgic. But the one thing that I was super excited to watch was the new iteration of Pinocchio by Guillermo del Toro.
Pinocchio?
Yeah, Pinocchio. So it's so far, I'm about 45 minutes into it, and I am really digging it because it gives you a nice origin story of why he made the wooden puppet. So that's where I'm at right now, and I don't want to give it away because it's a brand new movie, the origin story. But it's so far it's so good.
Why are you only like 43 minutes into it?
Because I fell asleep last night. I pulled a Nettie.
There it is.
Yeah, man, it was late at night.
That's amazing. Who do you think you are? Me? What the fuck? You can't be doing that shit.
Yeah, man, it was definitely a long weekend. Man. What are you watching, man?
Yes. So we were gonna watch Pinocchio. We haven't watched it yet because I didn't want to watch it without my oldest, and the baby was like, I want to watch that. I'm like, But I've seen I actually was going a little bit deep on the Netflix because I realized why I don't really watch Hulu in the basement. It tends to freeze.
Yeah,
it tends to that app, for whatever reason, like it'll be halfway through a scene and all of a sudden it just freezes on something. It gives you like the audio is fine, but for some reason the video just kind of cuts out. So that's the reason I tried the other day to catch up with Abbott Elementary, but it kept freezing on me. So
yeah. What else you been watching?
I also watched the Sebastian Maniscalco, that guy. His new special. Have you? I know you're familiar with him. How do you like his comedy?
I think it's good. It's not something that like, oh, I'm gonna stop and I have to watch it. It's not a Dave Chappelle, but I think he's good. I've seen him a long time ago when he wasn't famous. So to see his growth and now having these specials, I think it's pretty awesome. And the fact that he's getting multiple specials, that means he's doing something right.
I mean, he's doing enough right. I mean, like, you know me, I'm like a comedy junkie. Like I read a lot about comedy. I listen to a lot of comedy. He doesn't really do it for me, man. I feel like he's just like, hey, look at me and my hands. And I'm like, all right, man, that's cool. And it's just like, it's very like, I don't know. He's kind of very stereotypical and like mildly racist, but not like in a funny way. He's like, hey, look at this. You know what I mean? I'm like, calm down. Like Tony Soprano over here. Like, we get it, man. Like that's your whole fucking thing. Like that's all you do is just talk like a Soprano character for like, an hour and a half, and it doesn't do a lot for me. So I literally about 15 minutes in, I just kind of like started playing poker on my play. I was like, maybe he'll say something funny.
There you go.
Just hoping and praying. A couple more things. I watched this show called Snack versus Chef. There are chefs that compete to make a homemade version of popular snacks. They did one on hot Cheetos, which they all failed miserably at. They did I think they did like Oreo cookies, which that was interesting because it's a specific cookie and a specific cream. There was a couple other ones that they did, but they were like really hard. They did Snickers. Wow. Like, so they had to figure out, Twix is what it was. So they had to figure out literally how to make these candies and all these different snacks. You got the vending machine, and Pringles was the other one.
Oh, wow. So
imagine literally trying to have to figure out how to make that thing and then make the Pringles stackable, make the Kit Kat bar that you can break it apart and share it with your friends. You know what I mean? That was really interesting to see people actually attempt that. And the other thing, I don't know, did we ever watch? Did we talk about El Rey on Netflix?
I think we might have mentioned it that I wanted to watch it, but I just haven't seen it. I know it's a very long series.
It's fucking terrible. It's terrible. I'm just gonna save you the time. It's terrible. It's so choppy. It just jumps around. Speaking of jump around, I finally got around to watching Cobra Kai literally today. Like that's what I did today. So yeah, I mean, I caught up with that final season with Kreese in prison and Silver running things and everyone being psychotic and everything looking like a fucking something out of the Matrix, the dojo. Like what is happening right now? So yeah, I thought it was pretty good. I know I'm a little late to the party, but what did you think about that?
I think Cobra Kai, I mean, it is what it is. You're looking for a cheesy rom-com, throwback to the 80s, and they give you a little nostalgia, but at the same time try to make it modern times. And the first couple of seasons made you look at the perspective of Danny LaRusso, looking at more like a villain, and changing that dynamic on how you look at things. And now it's just like, there's love here, and there's little kid lovey-dovey, and then you got this other romantic thing, and there's marriage problems here. I just like, it sounds like All American at this point.
That's a good way to put it.
Yeah.
My favorite part is where they're like, this is going to be a decision that affects every kid in the valley. I'm like, how many kids are getting bullied with karate gangs? Like, I'm very confused about what's happening right now.
I've never seen a karate gang.
Defend your honor. I'm like, no, man, I'm going to go play Xbox. Like, leave me the fuck alone. Like, leave me, fight me in like Street Fighter or something. Like, what are you doing? Like, beat me at some weird game in Minecraft. Like, what the fuck this shit is? So it's entertaining enough, but it is super fucking corny. And compared to All American was a pretty good one. I like that because I know where you come from with that bullshit. Right?
Very CW.
It's like an almost sports show. But check out their dating. Like,
yeah. That's exactly what it is. All right, man. It is time to go.
It's time, ladies and gentlemen. We are going to continue our preparations for our holiday party coming up next weekend. If you don't hear from me, I just want to say Merry Christmas and Happy New Year to each and every one of you out there. Don't forget to go get your shirts. Don't forget to say hello to your friends and family you haven't seen in a while, and spread the love. And thank you so much for listening. A big thank you to our sponsors, 606 Media, True Chicago Sports Fans, and Grit Clothing Company. Don't forget to go to gritclothingco.com and get your official TCSF podcast t-shirt. Search for keyword True Chicago and use our promo code TrueFan15 at checkout for 15% off of your entire order. Go and get your gifts for yourself and every one of your friends and family so they have a Merry Christmas and they know where to listen to us knuckleheads speak on what we speak. Don't forget to use that promo code, like I said, TrueFan15 at checkout and get your shirts right now. Don't forget to check out the rest of the 606 Media lineup. The newest show in the 606 family is No Water on the Weekend with Stephen and Sean, a pop culture forward podcast that dabbles in funny trivia, film, television, music, and Chicago-centric news and happenings. New episodes are available on Mondays. And the Bulls are back, baby. That's right. The NBA is back in action. 606 Media, True Chicago Sports Fans, and Shy Native Entertainment present All Net. Make sure to check out All Net with Mike, Logic, and Ideal after every Bulls game for breakdown and analysis. And speaking of Mike, Logic, dropping on Friday, December 16th, Chips by Mike, Logic, and Joey Childs, produced by Max Julian. It's the first official single for Mike and Joey's upcoming EP, Too Much Text Volume 1. Let me tell you, what they're out there doing right now as a collab is super dope because you're seeing two different styles come together and make new music, and you know I'm always about that. So make sure you go check out that new single, Friday, December 16th, Chips by Mike, Logic, and Joey Childs, produced by Max Julian. The Shine Native Radio podcast is now available on all major platforms. Mike, Logic, Ideal, and Throw MC talk about sports, movies, and all types of ill shit. And don't forget, you can submit your music to them, and if they like it, they will play it on the air. Go to idealraps.com and get all their info and go check them out. Shout out to Ronesh, Panic, Series Beats, and Custom Made for the beats we played on today's show. Shout out to Custom Made. He made an album that was there is SoundCloud. I think it's SoundCloud, one of these sites. They put him as one of the rap artists of the year, so check them out. And then their group, they do dope shit over there. Custom Made. Go check them out right now. And don't forget to check out paniconthebeat.com to get all your Moment merch and gear. Check us out on social media. You can find us at True Shy Fans on Twitter and on TikTok. Find us on Facebook, Instagram, Spotify. Reach out to us on our email. We want to hear from you. Reach us at truechicagosportsfans@gmail.com. Real quick, Z, have you done your Christmas shopping yet?
Hell no.
When do you shop, man?
As soon as I get into break, like after I'm done with school, I usually spend 2-3 days and shop for everybody those couple days. So usually like the week before Thanksgiving, Christmas. You done?
Yeah. No.
Okay.
No. I've made one purchase so far. Usually Kim is the one that does all the shopping for the kids and, whatever Santa's going to bring. So I can't wait to learn what the kids got this year.
Way to go, Santa.
Hey, look, if you got a beard in the belly, you got the job. All right, ladies and gentlemen, for Big Z, this is E-Rock. We'll see you next time for 1, 2, 3. Until then, be good to each other.
For the love of sports.
Oh.
A few moments later.
You have a lot of incest.
That's real.
Shut your mouth, lover boy.
Nature versus nurture, Lodge. Nature always wins.
I think he's on steroids.
Hasta luego, amigos. That's off. I shouldn't have had those artichoke poppers.